Before we get started on the gemstones, oh, where's my wheel? My wheel fell off of my chair. Hey everyone, do you love fancy faceted molds? Me too, but I don't like paying for them. In my Dragonberry video, we used a product called Van Aken Plastilina, which is similar to plasticine except it's oil-based. And it doesn't dry, which means you can reuse it. And it got me to thinking about these little faceted molds. If you take a close look at them or you deconstruct them, you can see that, like, if somebody asked you, like, how did they make that, what would you say? They took a blob of clay and they stuck some gemstones to it, and they took a mold and then they charged you $30 for it. That's how they did it. So I was thinking today that maybe we could just give it a go. This stuff's really cheap. I'm going to break from tradition and put a link down in the description. You can click it if you want. You don't have to. It's up to you. We're going to use this, and we're going to take this little dish, cover it, and then just use some gemstones and attach. I have these little butterfly gemstones that my friend Jen gave me. And Jen at the Resin Nurse Poorhouse, you know her, you love her. She's the MVP. I thought that would be really pretty to put on there. Maybe, I do know that with something like this, that they more likely used something similar to this. I think I actually saw it on Jen's channel where she had one of these strips that has different sizes. So, hey, we can do it. We can do it. I'm not going to copy them and make a turtle, even though I could. We're just going to cover this dish, reimagine it. I'm going to set this on a little coffee warmer that I have so it's easier to make it pliable. I'll do that and then we'll come back. All right. If the idea of messing with this kind of stuff has your arthritis, like, you can just warm it up. It's fine. Just warm it up. We're going to start with a log like we did before. I'm basically just going to put a facade on here. Now, I don't need to get like a really thick coating on here, just something to make the gemstones stick. And I also probably don't need to really worry about getting the fingerprints out or whatever. It's just going to get covered up. Of course, I've never done this, so I don't even know if it's going to work. This is the usual. We're just experimenting. I believe that polymer clay is the sort of standard fare for taking molds. As far as I know, from my limited experience, I've made one mold out of polymer clay. Didn't work out so great. Well, something else before we get started on the gemstones. Oh, where's my wheel? My wheel fell off of my chair. It's so funny that you have these like little annoyances in your life that are easily fixable with what? Resin. Do we do it? No. But I've got 10,000 frogs. Anyway, back to this. I was also thinking that on top of putting the faceting around the edges, we could smoosh some of the clay into the bottom, transfer the butterfly onto it, and have like an inlay thing. I think we can do that. We're gonna do that. Okay, I put my wheel back on. Maybe at the end of this, we'll take the leftover resin and we'll fix the wheel. I really picked a bad day to do this. It's too cold out. Okay. Oh, she's softened up. I kind of feel like I need one of those roller thingies, but I don't. I'm an artist. I'm not a baker. I've got this. Let's use this. Use what you got, right? What I'll probably do is get this completely covered, and then we'll come put the stamp in. Although, now that I'm thinking about this, it needs to be on the inside. It does, because when we lay this like this and we pour the silicone in, we need somewhere to pull it out from, that's going to be right there. So the inlay needs to be on the inside. Okay. First things first. That was a good idea. We got a little impression of it. Let's do that. I'm learning. We're all learning here together, right? Imagine there's clay people out there watching this that are like, that's wrong. You're doing that wrong. I'm not a clay expert. I'm not an anything expert. I'm jack of all trades, but master of none. This bowl's a little stained, but it did clean it out, so we shouldn't have any blemishes coming through. And even if we do, it's going to be faceted, so it's not really going to matter. Make sure they kind of close those seams off, because you don't want the silicone to get up under there. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to just stamp them in. Well, I'm going to try. I don't even know if this is going to work. It's not going to work. It's too big. I just gave him a little trim. That'll work. We don't need to overcomplicate things here. You need to smooth this out, because whatever's in this clay is going to cast in our silicone. You think this is going to work? Get in there. Just really press it up. Again, I've never done this, so yeah. This is more about just getting the idea. Oh, why'd I do that? Why? Hopefully we got a good impression of him. Let's pull him out and see. Didn't get it so great on this side. Got it good on that side though. Okay, we'll come back in a little bit and mess with that some more. I want to get the gemstones onto this one. I'm not sure if I should take this sort of all the way over the rim or just up to the edge. Hey, and part of me just wants to cover the whole thing. I don't have to worry about it, but I'm just afraid it's going to get kind of stupid, because we need that inside part to be smooth. And there's no way I'm going to get this clay smooth, but that doesn't really matter because we're putting the gemstones on it. So let's get it on here. Okay, how's that? I know it's kind of thick in some spots, but I don't think it's going to matter. And same with just smoothing it down. It's not going to matter. It's going to be covered in gemstones, so I'm not even going to bother. Don't even. I think what I might do, though, is I think I'm just going to put on the warmer so I can kind of smooth it out. I don't think it's going to matter much, but yeah. Okay, we'll be back. Let's do the fun part now. I'm going to try to be symmetrical about all of this business. And also, obviously, I don't need to worry about the colors. We're not transferring the colors. So don't even worry about that. Probably just do a few of these and go into time lapse for the rest of it. No. I think I should put this one down here. it's gonna work? I think it is. And yes, I know I could glue these on to the dish and mold it, but I don't have time for that. I don't know. I don't have the patience for that. And plus, adhesives, they can really interfere with silicone. This clay does not interfere with silicone at all, so whatever is here is what we'll cast. But that also includes little blemishes and stuff, so I need to make it a point to try to smooth those out best I can. Or not, doesn't matter. I just gotta make sure I have enough of the little butterflies. I'm gonna put them all on right now so we can make sure we have enough. We're purposefully trying to make it look like it's not even. Because if I sit here and try to make these all look perfectly spaced and I get one little one wrong, you're gonna notice it. I'm not gonna worry about it. You shouldn't worry about it either. Okay. But since I have so many of the butterflies, I'll just kind of put them random so then you won't notice that it's just strange. Or maybe you will, because you're that guy. I'm just gonna get all the butterflies on. We're just doing the butterflies. I would make it a point just to spread them out a little bit better or more consistently, but we're filling it all in with gemstones. I'm going to go into time lapse for this because it's going to take a fat minute. So we'll do it. We'll come back when we're ready to mold it. All right. Side note, everyone, the footage of me actually taking the mold had some technical difficulties. If you want to see me clown my way through making a mold, you can see my previous video, which was a dragonberry. The gist of this one is that I put it into a container, we dumped some silicone into it, we waited 8 or so hours, and we unmolded it. Okay, back to regularly scheduled programming. Okay, we're back. So did it work? It seems like it did. A couple of the little gemstones got stuck in the side, but not really. I mean, I just poked them out. That's kind of the nature of having a lot of little teeny tiny things with spaces in between them, but it's no big deal. Came out pretty clean. I just gave it a little soap action. Cleaned it off. And I know that with inlays you usually dust them, and with faceted molds you usually put something clear in it. So I'm gonna try to do both. We'll dust the butterfly, and then we'll just use some alcohol ink and make a nice pretty color, transparent color. Sometimes you mentioned on the daily on Reddit is people complaining about their resin not curing properly or setting up properly, and it almost always comes back to it not being mixed all the way. And you would be surprised, you could sit here and mix and mix and mix and it's still not mixed up good. And a big reason for that is because the A component is a lot heavier, and so it falls to the bottom. So you could be stirring and stirring and stirring, but that A component staying down at the bottom, and so it's really in your best interest to try to bring it to the top. Make sure you're really getting that mixture homogenized. Don't stop until the streaks are gone. Inherently, that will be the source of most problems that people encounter when they're doing this, be it soft spots or like a little haze that might form or stickiness. There's a whole myriad of things that can do it. So just take your time, put on some Taylor Swift, listen to a song, and pay attention. I've been gently stirring this for 4 minutes and still not stirred up good all the way. And as tempted as you might be to whip it hard, just don't. You're just gonna put bubbles in it. I really don't want to have any bubbles in this because it'll kind of ruin it. Like the faceting needs to be see-through, you know. And these little bubbles will make it like matte. Scrape the stick, scrape the sides, and give it one more for good measure. Just right quick, we'll put this brownie ready chrome powder on there. I know it needs kind of a darker color on the bottom. I'm going to use one of these old janky makeup sponges from back in the day. And the reason for that is because it'll allow me to really pack this on here without flicking it off like you would with a paintbrush. I don't want it going down into the mold. I mean, it's not going to be a big deal if it does, but keep it contained. It's a pretty color. I don't know where I got it. I would put a link in the description, but I don't know. It's probably that one place that sells cheap stuff, but it's unlabeled and all that, so whatever. It's mystery meat. That's what it is. Red is always such a tricky one because if you do it transparent, it tends to read pink. And if you do it opaque, well then obviously you lose the transparency. It's a real fine line there, you know. I'm tempted to put something in there to make it sparkle a little bit, like some gold leaf or some cosmic shimmer, but let's stick with the plan. I'm gonna get in here, poke around at it. Make sure those bubbles aren't sticking to all of those facets, because gosh, that's a lot of facets. If you've ever done anything with a faceted mold, you know that they're bubble trapped. And I could have sprayed alcohol on it, but that would have messed up the butterfly. We don't want to do that. Hopefully the color on the butterfly isn't too similar to the color of the bowl, because it might just disappear in there. Sorry if you hear my kiddo squawking in the background. She's a teenager. They're loud. And I'm really just shooting at fish in a barrel here, because I don't know if any of this is making it Sam's hell bit of difference. Hope for the best, I guess. I want to keep the heat away from this one because I really, really don't want a flash curing. I'll just use some alcohol to pop the bubbles. I'll keep a close watch in here and check it every hour or so. Alright, we're going to leave that to cure. We'll be back. Alright, we're back. So did it work? I mean, I know it works. However, I've already cast a few test pieces. You know I did. I'll show them to you in a second. I didn't quite like how they turned out. So here's V3 as it would be. This is kind of what I was going for in V1. But I made the pigment too opaque. So we kind of lost our, I mean, we didn't lose our faceting, but it's not quite the same. This is what I was going for. The transparency is kind of important, I think. Although, no, that's not. You can do it any way you want. You do it. You do you, boo. What I did do on this one was I put a top coat down there. And that's okay. Like, I don't hate it. But on this one, we lost it. The color that I put on the bottom was just too similar to the color that I put into the resin. But also, look at the bubbles. This one flash cured on us. I was trying to speed run it, put it on the heat, and you gotta have patience, y'all. You see, like where the clay was, it came out kind of mattified, so I'm not sweating that too much, but it's still worth noting. Same with the inlay. I probably could have made him shiny before I put him in there, and then he would have cast shiny. It's funny how differently it looks on the bottom. I like that better. It kind of just goes to show you that I shouldn't have dusted it. I should have just left it. I don't know. Whatever. I think my big lesson learned in this one is that you don't have to take things at face value. I like how this one came out. It's pretty. Anyway, if you got this far into the video, as always, I appreciate you watching. Be sure to hit the like button, drop a comment, all that cheesy stuff. I hope you learned something. I hope you try something. Until next time, folks. Bye.